Hello to all of our friends out there in the interweb land that have found Parent Twain Connection. I am Clarissa Constantine. I'm the founder of Parent Twain Connection. We are where parents go when they don't know where to go. And as you're going to find with the guest who is joining us right now, this isn't just where you go to find we're not just where you go when you don't know where to go for your kids. We can also be where you go when you don't know where to go to find resources for yourselves. So Jessica Waugh, hello. Thank you for bearing with the tech gremlins as we get started.
No problem. It is just part of life these days.
So, Jessica, when you and I first met, I was like, we need to talk because, yes, we're the Parent Tween Connection. Yes, we're about supporting families at this point, primarily with kids of the ages between 10 and 20. That will be expanding. But here's the deal. So many of the folks who are blessed with children between the ages of 10 and 20 are also themselves blessed with this beautiful concept called perimenopause and menopause.
Yes, they are.
And so to our listeners, I invited Jessica to apply to join us because we don't talk about the very real impacts of the hormonal changes that women in this stage of life are navigating. We pay an awful lot of attention to, oh my God, my teenager's going wackadoodle because she's got hormones raging. And by the way, we have another guest coming in January talking about that. But we totally don't consider that there's a big hormonal change, and it seems like the span during which it can hit is a wider range.
Yes.
Than it is for the teenagers. And then there's also other complexities, if we have other health complexities, PCOS, those types of things, or if, cancers and those types of things that many women find themselves in medically induced menopause. So that's why I wanted to have this conversation, because it's really, really important. Moms have to support themselves, and we just have to know where to start as women in order to take care of ourselves so we can take care of our kids or the ubiquitous kids.
Yes.
So let's start. One of the points that was really, really impactful to me is, as an entrepreneur and somebody who lives an intense lifestyle, put it that way, right? Why high functioning stress can actually mask the signs of early perimenopause.
It's really common. And I think it's not even just high functioning stress masks the signs. It's that we use stress as a clean slate, as a wipe, as a overarching of whatever we're feeling. Because as entrepreneurs, we're typically underslept, overworked. We're doing everything for everyone. We've got 20 buckets going at the same time. And when we are doing so much, our adrenals are going extra. And so our stress is going extra. And a lot of times you go into a doctor and you say, I have, more anxiety than typical. My depression is increasing. I've got a lot of brain fog lately. I am not sleeping through the night. I am having hot flashes, maybe hot flashes, typically not so much stress, but a lot of those like earlier days, digestion issues, indigestion, there's so many things that doctors just like, oh, you're stressed. You just need to take a rest. And I don't know how many times I've had a woman come to me, myself included, with this, saying I have these symptoms, but the doctor just keeps saying it's stress. And yes, but no. And there is a lot of times we think of our body as these unique individual things in our body, but our body is an entire system. And when our stress is high, it's going to pull from other places to adapt. And just like we adapt when we start to get busy, our body is going to adapt as well. And our body's very first thing that it is focused on, the most important thing it's focused on, is staying alive. And so when our cortisol increases, it doesn't care if your skin is dry. It doesn't care if your ears get watery. It doesn't care if your brain fog is coming. It doesn't care if your anxiety increases. It doesn't care about those things. It cares about surviving. And so it pulls from our progesterone. It pulls from our estrogen. It pulls from so many other aspects of our body, which typically keep us feeling, let's just use the word sane. And with that,
I might argue that, however, we'll go with it.
Your face was perfect with that. And it keeps us from feeling the way we feel when we feel quote unquote normal, because our body's just trying to survive in the moment.
So when you say, doctors are like, oh, it's just stress. And that's not to say that it's not stress.
Yes.
But it's not, my understanding is that it is to say is that it is not only stress.
Yeah.
Likely.
Yeah. Very likely.
So,
and go ahead.
Go ahead.
There's so many things that are that put a play in it. And one thing that I don't think is talked about enough, because there's only starting to be research about it, and I'm a product of this, is if you have high stress in your life, and you might think your stress is not high, but I promise you it probably is. We have stress tolerance, just like we build tolerance to things around us. We build tolerance to stress really, really well, especially as women. And most of us, when we think of like what stresses us out, we don't think about the little things that stack on top of each other that create this like stress hurricane in our body. And what normally would have been a 9, we're like, no, I'm fine. It's a 2. I'm good. So that, and plus if you have a traumatic background in any way, stress and trauma can push you into perimenopause early. And we don't talk about that enough. And we don't talk about that then. And I'm a product of that. I started perimenopause at 32, and 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago. And it took ages for me to figure out what was going on, because no one talked about it. No one knew about it starting that early. And there was stress and trauma, plus genetics played a bit of a role in that for me as well. But it's not talked about. And it's very likely that stress is playing a part of it, especially if you're someone who has 17 tabs open in your brain at the same time. Stress is very likely playing a part of it.
Wait. If you're someone who, is there anybody who doesn't have 17 tabs open at a time?
Yeah.
Okay. So then you were talking about how, like, when you've got this stress going on and it pulls from progesterone, it pulls from here. And I'm, as a former personal trainer, I have better than some exposure to the hormonal chaos that can ensue.
Yes.
And it's really easy just to be like, I'm just tired. Like my brain doesn't shut down. Or I've got the brain fog, so I feel like I'm working overtime. It's so much harder to think sometimes to just do what, 20-year-old, 25-year-old me did really easily. So then what do we need to pay attention to? Like, can we, and if so, how do we identify the difference between this stress impact and or when do we start going, but wait, where are my hormones? Like, how do I know if I'm in like absolute hormonal chaos versus just life's just freaking insane?
Yeah. I think it's a matter of how many symptoms you're feeling. If you're just stressed, maybe you're tired. Maybe you get a little overwhelmed. Maybe you have an emotional day. But if it's a chronic, every day I'm feeling 5, 10, 15 symptoms, and there's over 90 symptoms of menopause or perimenopause, both, because estrogen affects basically every inch of our body from our head to our toes. And then progesterone as well, which we don't talk about progesterone quite as much as estrogen in the grand scheme of everything, but they both play a really big role. And so if it's like, oh, today I'm stressed and I got a little snippy with my kids or my husband or my partner or my lover, whoever. And after I slept, I woke up and I felt good. And then that's probably stress. But if that then carries in and you can't sleep that night, you're waking up at 2, 3 in the morning, you're waking up and then you're wired, but you're also exhausted at the same time. And then you move into your day and you're having these rage attacks and then you have these cry attacks. And then you move into your middle of the afternoon and you're feeling like you're plummeting and you're hungry, but you can't stop to eat because you've got 17 things going on. And then you go into your evening and you're like, crap, I need to eat. And then you're snippy because you're still eating. And then you go into your evening and you're hot flashing and you're like, you're going from cold to hot and then you can't sleep again. And it just keeps going and keeps going. Then we got to talk about your hormones.
I'm just going to throw a PSA out to partners who are tuning in. May I lovingly, supportively, and emphatically remind you that accusing us of being hangry, bitchy, or PMSy is not in your best interest. Just saying.
No,
Okay.
it's
Well,
not.
and the other thought I had too is that so often, hormones get the rap of only being about sex.
Yeah.
Right? Like, when we hear it again in puberty and adolescence relative to teenagers about like, oh, their hormones are raging, all they're thinking about is sex. But
Yeah.
really, hormones are the drivers for everything. Like you said, estrogen impacts everything in our body head to toe. Hormones are they're really the GPS and like the navigators in a way for like 98% of our bodily functions, not just sex.
Yes.
So I'm really glad to have this conversation to remind parents or remind women, folks dealing with female menstrual type things, that it impacts everything in our bodies.
Yes.
So how do we tune back in when things have gone wackadoodle and cray cray?
Mm-hmm.
What do we do? Because I don't even have kids, but I am an entrepreneur, so I can relate to a lot of the intensity and the long hours and the snippiness and my people around me calling me hangry, and
Yep.
it's not their best decision.
Nope.
Ask me how I know. Right? But so what can we do to start tuning back into our bodies? And then, at what point do we need to go to the doctor? There's also rampant conversations about doctors not necessarily listening to women, which is a whole other conversation we could get into, right? And that studies have shown that it's harder for women to get doctors to listen to them or get medical professionals to pay attention, and they think you're just hormonal, right? Yeah. Which is why we're here. But how do we tune back in, and how do we get the help that we need?
Yeah. So let's start with, how do you tune back in? And the simplest answer is not the easiest answer. And it's, you have to start putting yourself first, and you have to start checking in with yourself. And I can't even name the amount of times I've told a woman, have you asked yourself in this day, just today, how am I today? What do I need today? How am I feeling today? What's going on? And I'll be talking to a client, and I can tell when someone's cortisol is high based on the way they're talking to me. I can tell if they haven't ate based on the way they're talking to me. I can tell a lot of things just based on the way they're talking to me.
And what she's saying, dear listeners, is she can see it in me too. And if you'd like to have a conversation with her personally, I'm pretty sure she'll see it for you as well. Carry on.
And so I'll always say, let's just take a breath. Like, you can do this in your car. You can run to the bathroom and lock the door in case your kids are mowing you down. That's the only place you have space, is in your bathroom, because I feel like every mom says that. I'm not a mom either, but I'm an auntie, and I'm an owner of 4 companies. So I kind of get it. Not fully get it, but I kind of get it. Sure. And it's hard sometimes. And I've had women on a call with me, literally in the bathroom, door locked, kids screaming and banging on the door. And sometimes I get it, the bathroom's the only place that you have. In your car is the only place that you have. You don't have to spend 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. 3 breaths. All you need is 3 breaths, really deep breaths where you're counting to 5, and you just say, holy shit, I haven't peed today. I haven't ate a bite today. I haven't drank water. When was the last time I even had a glass of water? I don't even know. And when you sit and you give yourself those 3 breaths to yourself, your body's like, hello. And it's been yelling at you this whole time. But as I'm just going to say, as women, because I'm not a man, so I don't know. As women, we compartmentalize so easily. And anything that is happening to us, we could be sick as a dog, but our best friend, our loved one, our mom, our whoever is sick, we will be like, I got it. I'm okay. I got you. I'll come help you. And we're
put the Superwoman cape on.
Exactly. We're so quick to do everything for everyone else. And one of the most profound things that someone said to me recently, and I've asked them permission to say it going forward, is, and I think they read it in a book actually, is, if you had the ability to take over the body of a loved one of yours for 1 year, what would you do differently in their body to help them be better when they took their body back. And every single time when I heard that, plus when I've said it to other people, after they say what they say, they're like, I don't even treat my body that way.
Mm-hmm. I knew that's where you were going.
Mm-hmm. And so it's thinking like, if I was my loved one, what would I be doing for myself in this moment? What do I need in this moment? What would I be giving to my loved one if they were coming to me in this exact position? I would be saying, sit down, let me make you some soup, let me get you some water, go pee real quick. Like, you'd be saying things to them like this, but we don't do it to ourselves. And that's the first one. We just have to get quiet enough and breathe enough in our skin so we can hear our body, because our body whispers first. And then it starts to talk a little louder. And then it starts to scream. And then it starts to put us down because we're not listening to it. And I'm a product of that many times.
And you know, what's interesting is the thought that I just had is so many parents are like, my kid doesn't do what I tell them to do. My kid does, like, I know what's best and they don't do what I say that they should do.
They're following your lead.
So once we've tuned in, you're right, simple doesn't mean easy, but doable, right? And when we get to a point where we're like, okay, there's more, you know, perhaps as a result of this conversation, we have a woman going, oh, maybe this isn't just stress, right? And maybe there is more going on.
Yeah.
How do we get the help that we need? I mean, obviously you specialize in supporting women through menopause. I know that you're a health coach, and I imagine that there's an aspect that you work in tandem with folks with their doctors and whatnot, but like, what kinds of resources are there? How do we get the help that we need to navigate this and take care of our bodies?
Yeah. Well, the very first is, just because your doctor is an amazing doctor doesn't mean they're an amazing menopause specialist. And that's something that we need to think about, is maybe they are up to date in the research, and maybe they are certified now, and maybe they are that amazing doctor, which is fewer than more at this moment in time. And hopefully that changes. But one thing to think about is a lot of doctors haven't gotten menopause specific training. And so if you are seeing, you know, you have an OBGYN who you just absolutely love, ask them, what's your experience with menopause? And are you up to date with the research and everything that's going on right now? And if they say no, or kinda, then you go to a website called menopausesociety.org. You go to find a practitioner. You type in your zip code. You say, find near me. You can give it a mild distance. And there will be people who are up-to-date certified that are close to you that can help you. And you're not cheating on your gyno by going to see a menopause specialist. You're not discrediting them. You're just finding someone. We wouldn't go to an ENT for a knee problem. So it's the same thing. And so everything has its own specialty. And so you need to find someone who specializes in it. And then there's also great online sources for telehealth medicine, where you could do like Join MIDI or MyAlloy, or I think it's called EverNow, are the three that I typically recommend. And then if you're in Las Vegas, of course, you can talk to me. I have amazing doctors that I partner with here in Vegas. And then I work on the lifestyle side. I don't work on the medical side of it. But there's so many avenues now. If you're like, I don't want to spend any money right now, just go to my TikTok or Instagram. I've got so much education on there. And a lot of people are nervous to step into that. And there's so much shame and stigma behind menopause. And it's part of my mission, is we're rewriting this like stigma of menopause as it's truly an empowerment era. It is an era that makes women put themselves first. And the way I like to say it is, menopause makes us be the woman that we're actually meant to be before we became the woman that others needed us to be. I'm just going to let that one breathe for a minute.
Say, let that simmer for a second or five. Okay. I like that perspective. So then you've given us some great resources. And as we wrap up, I'm going to make sure to ask you for your Instagram and TikTok to verbalize those. And we'll make sure that those are in the notes on YouTube and all the places that we're going, so that people can find you. Talk to me about your perspective on redefining the word fine, which has any number of acronyms.
Yeah.
I can't remember all of the letters that a friend of mine uses, but the N is neurotic. But like redefining it from like not just surviving, but actually like thriving through clearly, I mean, we've used the term chaos, and I use that because you offered it to me in the original notes about what you do and how you do it. Again, we see the chaos that teenagers go through, and the physical changes. I think that's part of the reason that it's more front of mind for us, is because we can see the physical maturation as they go through that. We don't see the same kind of changes as we navigate these hormonal changes as adults. But how do we get to thriving through this empowerment process?
It's, again, simple, but not easy.
I don't like you anymore, Jessica.
And it's the thing that I can speak for myself on this, that most women find the absolute hardest, and it's asking for help. And whoever your loved one is who's near you, when you say, I'm fine, you need to just like have a conversation when you are good. Have a conversation with your partner, with your loved one, with your best friend, with whoever it is, and say, hey, I need you to really help me. And I need you to help me pull myself from this place of dismissing my own needs and my own self, and say, anytime you ask me how I am and I say I'm fine, check in with me and say, are you fine? What does fine mean for you today? What is that? And when someone says that, one, we almost never have an automatic response to whatever we say. It is like this social nicety of, how are you? I'm good. And they're like walking and they didn't even listen to you say I'm good. Like no one really cares in the day-to-day realm. There are people who care. That came off mean. But in general, they don't. And so asking and really being open with your loved ones and saying, hey, I'm like going through some shit right now. I don't know if I can say that. I'm going through some stuff right now.
I don't care.
I'm going through it right now, and I'm going to say I'm fine because that's just what I do. And I need you to help me because I'm not fine. And if we ask for help when we're fine, we actually will be able to thrive through fine.
Right.
Because we need to talk.
So
we need to talk.
So the mom who I'm very close with, who uses the acronym, is listening. She's tuning in, and she's actually just texted me. And here's your definition for anybody who would like to understand what fine really means: freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional.
Yeah.
Which of those am I? And then I think the other thing, Jessica, is like, I can hear my husband being like, how you doing? And I'm like, I'm fine. And if he were to check in with me again, like, I am the kind of person who doesn't actually like to be poked.
Yeah.
That like, if I respond, like if I have this conversation with the people around me, and it's not just him, it's whoever around me. Yeah. I also need to recognize that if I'm going to ask them to help me in that space, I can't snap back at them for checking in with me because I've asked them for that help.
Yeah.
So,
well,
Jessica, go ahead.
To real quick, we're really quick to criticize ourselves. It's okay to snap in a moment. You just need to be in that moment with yourself and say, I'm sorry, I snapped. I'm fine.
Am I freaked out? Am I insecure? Am I neurotic, or am I emotional?
Yeah. And it's okay to snap. It's okay to be human. It's okay to have the full expression of emotions. And I think we dim having an emotion as women that is angry or emotional or hormonal. And it's okay to have those emotions. We need to account for those emotions once we're okay, but it's okay to express them. And if you are open with whoever's around you that, hey, I might snap, just like give me a hug or whatever it is that you specifically need. Or if you feel like I'm really not in that place and you're a journaler, then journal that night about why you are fine. And work through that on your own until you feel like you're comfortable to have people help you.
And that would definitely be my MO. So thank you for throwing that out there. All right. So we're going to wrap this up. Again, thank you for your patience as we got started tonight, Jessica. And for folks tuning in, we had some tech gremlins in the works. I have two final questions for you. Here's the first one. Everything that we do here at Parent Tween Connection is based on what I call the foundations of connection. And I'm going to basically, the word connection is an acronym. So each of the phrases I'm about to share spells out connection. Anybody tuning in, if you want to download these, they're on our website. You can download, free copy, whatever. And I'm just curious, Jessica, kind of like which one rings true for you. So we start with create a safe place, observe, non-judgment, nod and smile, explore, challenge your truths, take your time, innovate, own your own story, and nurture. And I'm sorry that this is a pop quiz with 10 things to try to remember one of. But what are you thinking?
Yeah, actually, two. First is non-judgment. We're so judgmental of ourselves and we're so critical of ourselves. And to come to a place of exploration is my second. Come to a place of exploration within yourself without judgment. Don't judge yourself for being snappy. Don't judge yourself for being emotional. Don't judge yourself for being hormonal. Don't judge yourself for being perimenopausal. Don't judge yourself for being a woman. Don't judge yourself for being a human. Just explore what you're feeling and say, it's okay. I feel this way. The more you dismiss yourself through judgment, the more your body's not safe. It's not safe to feel, and it's not safe to do the things we want. And we keep our weight on, we keep the belly fat, we keep the whatever it is because our body's not safe. So explore from a place of non-judgment so your body feels safe to express what it needs to express.
Love it. Love it. All right. So, Jessica, how do people find you if they want to learn more?
Yeah, the easiest way, and you're going to hear, we didn't even say my first company's name. Perfect. I just rebranded my company, so you won't even know. Well, now you know. Is Instagram or TikTok is the easiest way. I have two different names on both. On TikTok, it's Not Your Mama's Menopause. And because we're not doing what our mamas did, and we're not being quiet no more. We're talking. And on Instagram, it's my company name, which is The Pause Effect with an A. And also my website is thepauseeffect.com as well.
Okay. And we'll make sure, like I said, we'll come back probably over the weekend and get those back in on our notes here and whatnot. So, all right. For those of you who are tuning in, if this is your first time with us, please do make sure to click like, follow, or subscribe, depending on what platform you're catching us on. And Jessica and I actually are going to head over to Parent Tween Village. That is our parent-focused community. And we're going to have an exclusive conversation for our members on the breaking point that no one talks about. We're going to talk about it. So if you are part of Parent Tween Village, pop on over into your app on Go Collab and tune in. If you are not yet a member, pop on over to parenttweenconnection.com/Parent Tween Village to learn more. All of our live streams are archived there. So even if you miss our live conversation, you can catch the recording. So thank you, Jessica, and stand by. Have a great night, everybody.